You know the problem: flat and splayed feet, sunken arches, foot deformities, and pain in your feet. We don't know the cause, so we blame our genes. I'm going to explain to you how these situations develop and show you a solution. We really don't have to think too hard to understand why this is happening to our feet. You know, we're supposed to be walking around barefoot on soft, natural ground, on a beach, in the forest, uphill, downhill, with slight angle changes in our joint. That's what our feet were made for. There are muscles, fascia, tendons that support, hold in place, pull, and all of this has to be kept in permanent motion. If not, it simply degenerates. And what do we do to our poor feet? We force them into shoes from dawn till dusk. Even late in the evening, they're stuck in shoes, and often these shoes are tight and don't give your feet room to move around. A normal foot, for example, typically broadens while walking, but if you wear shoes that deny your feet these flowing motions, then they will tighten up, become rigid, and react to this lack of motion, and everything degenerates. And this results in all these deformities and the pain that comes along with them. That, of course, doesn't mean that the solution is running barefoot around downtown. That would be a sight. No, the solution is either wear shoes that give your feet a maximum of moving space that are big enough. For example, I recommend buying running shoes a half size, even a size larger. But remember, your feet should not slip in the shoes because that gives you blisters. But give your feet enough room so that they can move during your movements. So your shoes should be a blessing for your feet and do them good. But the most important news is there are exercises that help you to compensate for all of this. The first one, get on your knees and sit on your heels. And now you reach under your toes and pull. Make sure you pull on the big toe, because that's the strongest one and has to be kept in top shape because we need it for walking. Hold that for 2.5 minutes. Keep on pulling up. Do the same for your other foot. For the second exercise, we're going to use a wall. Ina, please go to the wall. And then start a stretch. With this exercise, you have to be careful. It is a well-known exercise, but most of the time it is done incorrectly. You have to watch out that the back foot does not point outwards, but points in a perfect straight line towards the wall. That's really important. And then you'll feel a stretch here, and this stretch radiates all the way down to the foot arch, and that is why it's part of this exercise. And you could do even one better by taking our mini roller or a book, whatever suits you, and put your toes on this slope and move your other foot forward, getting the same stretch going again. But now, other than your foot being stretched, you also stretch your toes. That's exercise number 2. Very effective. You'll notice right away because your foot is going to feel quite different. And now, our third exercise. We're going to go back to a mat and into a squatting position. And make sure that you shift backwards enough so that your center of gravity creates a nice stretch right here from your 10 toe joints to the heel of your foot so that your entire foot arch is getting nicely stretched. Stay like this, please, Ina. This is very important to know. You can find arch supports as inserts for your shoes, and they're supposed to help bring your foot back into its natural position, and so on. I'm not a big fan of those supports. And in a minute, you'll know why. Because everything that bolsters up, supports your arches, also makes them weaker, because your body is going to think, great, I don't have to waste my strength, I have support from the outside. And from then on, you depend on this crutch, and the whole situation is getting worse and not better. There are arch support inserts out there that are supposed to give training impulses to your foot. that you might use for a certain time that kind of mimic walking barefoot on natural ground. You could check those out and have them fitted for your shoes to replicate an uneven walking ground. But actually, if you do our exercises, you won't really need them. After stretching here for a while, shift your weight forward so your knees touch the mat. And now you could feel a good stretch on your big toe and the others as well. Stay like this because this is doing you a world of good. And I would ask you to pass this information on because there are so many people out there with damaged and deformed feet, full of pain, or tensed up feet that create discomfort. So please share this video with as many people as possible so they can learn about these stretches, and you can help do some good. That wraps up our 3 exercises. Now, a bonus exercise. Now for something rather special for your feet, a foam rolling massage for the sole of your foot. Use our mini foam roller or something similar. Stand straight and then hover your foot over the roller. The devil is in the detail here. First, put only your toes on the roller and then roll forward, clawing your way with your toes. Move ahead, grip with your toes, and roll forward. And with each grip, you bring your foot forward. And each time you pull your heel ahead a bit until you've passed your toe joints. And put your entire weight on it. Really, your entire weight. Don't lock your knee. Just make sure that you have as much weight on it as possible. And then, when you're about to cross the arch of your foot, stop for a second, Ina. Lean your entire leg a bit to the inside so that you can adjust the angle of the arch to allow you to roll evenly on the in and outside of the arch with equal pressure and move forward. Now you've come to the point where your toes touch the ground, and your heel is coming up a bit. Before, your heel was still on the mat and your toes off of the ground. Now we have the reverse situation, but use your leg to make sure you have full contact on the entire arch, applying even pressure. This is really important because the closer you get to your heel bone, the more we enter a territory with a lot of tension where heel spurs can form. By the way, stay like this, please. What you're doing now is very important because with these exercises and the rolling massage, you're acting against any hallux valgus or bunion that might be forming and also preventing any heel spurs. Because heel spurs develop on account of this cord here. That runs towards the heel, being much too tight and not flexible and yielding enough. That's why the tendon starts pulling on your heel bone, creating little bumps. And everything becomes very sensitive. And at some point, it gets so bad that you can't walk anymore. And that's important to know. It is not the heel spur itself that causes the pain, but the bone skin of the spur with its very sensitive receptors. And with these exercises, like those that we did before, and with our foam rolling massage, you can relax the tissue here. The spur is still there, this bony bit, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't pester you anymore. The same is true for bunions. It is easy to get rid of, simply by stretching the tendons and the fascia well and bringing them back to a normal tension level. Then the pain will disappear immediately, and even the shifting of the joint, which creates this foot deformity, will also be history then. So I'm going to repeat myself here, but please share these videos. Send us a comment. Tell us about your experience with these kind of foot problems and deformities. Can't wait to read it. Now, let's continue. Now you're on your heel, and very important, put a lot of weight on it. so that you squeeze the tissue above the heel bone really thoroughly. Because this is where all the sludge ends up, always in the feet. And that has to be moved so that detoxification can start, that everything can be cleaned up. Roll forward. Great. And eventually, you'll come to the end point. Theoretically, you could continue with a foam rolling massage of your calf so that everything that's been loosened up down here can reach your calf and then be disposed of through your body. Maybe you've noticed how much you could do for the well-being of your body, not only for your feet, but for your entire body.